So this is a training on how to properly fill out a residential listing agreement for sale when you're going to a listing appointment. So let me go ahead and share my screen so we can get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up the property report. So I already have the realist report, which is really all I need to get the process started. The next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to pull up WIN forms of the state of California. Remember, these forms change often, so make sure you make listing agreement that you're currently filling out is the same as the one that I'm doing now. There's no addition yet. The video today should be fine. So let's pull up the realist report again. Go into WIN forms. So what I do is the following. So I'll create a new transaction. New. I'll put the address, 19 Sparrow Hill Lane, listing. Listing, residential. And some of you may already have templates pre-built in, so be it. If you don't, you can start this from scratch and you can pre-build a template if you have to. I always pull up an RLA, which is a residential listing agreement exclusive. And then what you have to realize is the listing agreement says that the moment that you sign and execute it, it's got to go in the MLS within 48 hours. So just in case, I bring what's called an SELM, which allows us to exclude it from the MLS immediately. So then what I do, only 2 documents I bring on a listing appointment for now. This is the agency disclosure. I'll already pre-fill in the seller's name. So we have a Michael. By the way, I'm looking over here. Okay, so Michael B. Wood. I'll put seller. I won't date it because I don't, right now the appointment's flexible. So here, Wood. Remember, you only need one signature to list a property from a seller. So if Michael wants to sign, but Joanne can't for a couple weeks, whatever the reason might be, that's fine. But you need one listing party to sign, but you need both signatures to sell. This is one of our agents, Michael. Okay. We'll go ahead and put Michael's BRE number. I'll just put now. Highly recommend templates that are pre-filled in. I'm just starting from scratch, which is fine. Don't put a date. I'll put that back in there. This is all pre-filled in, which is fine. So listing contract. So if I know what date I'm going to the listing agreement, I'll put that date. So that's tomorrow that I know that I'm going on it. Has the seller's information. And then beginning date, I always put the date that I'm going, and I always put a 6-month term. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 months is November 4th. I'll put the address, which is 19 Sparrow Hill Lane. And it'll ask me for the city, Laguna Hills. Then I'll put the county, which is Orange. I'll put the zip, which is 92653. And I'll put the parcel number, which is right here, also known as the APN number. Put it right here, 25-273-15. I leave the price blank because we're going to talk about that at the presentation. Then, as far as commission, I'll always pre-built in 6%. I'll always put 60 days. Just so you know, this section says that once our listing expiration of November 4th, 2017 happens, if we have not sold the property immediately, we'll give them a list within 5 days of any buyers or agents that show the property by name. And if any of those buyers on our list that we give them actually buys that home within 60 days after the expiration date, we're entitled to commission. Everything else here I leave blank. I clean this up because the states usually doesn't show up. So I'll put CA. I'll put CRMLS, which is our MLS that we input the property into. In your region, it could be completely different. So make sure you know your MLS. Then everything else is pre-built in, not a big deal. Dates are already pre-built in. We'll sign and date tomorrow when we go. Seller's advisory is there. I'll put tomorrow's date on that section. And then that's it. Then, so that's a listing agreement ready to go. Pre-filled in, all you got to do is basically put in a price, sign, and date here. If any renegotiations happens from term, date, commissions, anything can be easily crossed out, refilled in by hand, then initialed by seller and by listing agent. And then we'll go back to my forms. This is the seller instructions to exclude from the MLS. So if you list a home, let's say we go tomorrow, we list it, but for whatever reason, we're not going to put in the MLS for literally 2 weeks. So we got to take this with us, and we'll say listing agreement, because it's an addendum to that. That's dated actually tomorrow. And then it's in the CRMLS for us down here in OC. And then what happens is that when we meet tomorrow, it's going to state that do not submit the property in the MLS until whatever date. So once we find out how much work it needs, whatever the dynamic may be, we'll go ahead and let them know, and we'll put the date in there. So other than that, that is exactly how you prepare a listing agreement. One more change I'm going to make, I just realized, is since there's 2 agents on this listing agreement, we're going to make sure on the last page of the agreement, it's all cleaned up right there. There's actually 2 spots. So if you co-list a property, for us, we just have both people on it. It's separate. Then we have Michael's is, hold on, I know it's 019-640-72. We'll date it tomorrow. And that's it. So then what I do is I go ahead and save as a PDF. I apologize. I save. So it's already been saved. I'll print multiple forms. Next. And then what I do is once I'm printing this and I print it out, I put it in my listing folder with everything else, and I am ready to go. And that's how you prepare a listing agreement in 5 minutes. And that's it. So best of luck and take a bunch of listings.